I was really excited to be part of nominating the TopGun 51 award winners this year. So today we are going to have 3 special award winners come up and talk a little bit about what it takes to be a next generation channel leader. So these TopGun awards are really all about how are these leaders creating and developing and implementing programs that help the partners drive success and also customer success. So first up, please join me in congratulating our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Craig Schlagbaum. Congratulations, Craig.
Hey, thank you.
Craig is Vice President of Indirect Channels at Comcast, and in that role, you are still at Comcast, right?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. And in that role, he has got sales, marketing, support, operations,
the whole thing.
The whole shebang for about over 200 Comcast solution providers, right?
More like 3,000, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, 3,000. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Okay, and next up, we've got John Muscarella from Cox Business, yay, as our Channel Innovator Award. So, hey, congratulations on the Channel Innovator Award, John. And you've got, as a senior director at Cox Business, you've got both the strategy and the implementation.
That's correct.
Of all your channel business. And I also hear that you run the go-to-market for a lot of your verticals, like the government and education, small business verticals?
That's correct. I see a lot of different opportunities and different verticals for Cox, and we've taken advantage of just growing our presence in the market. But my passion's always been with the indirect channel and helping the business owners here be successful.
Excellent, and congratulations on your Channel Innovator Award.
Thank you.
And our third special award today is our Rising Star Award, and it goes to Suzanne Swanson of Trustwave. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And as Vice President of Worldwide Channels at Trustwave, Suzanne just started earlier this year, and she has the exciting task of creating Trustwave into a channel-centric company. So we're going to take your seats, and I'm going to ask these 3 some questions about channel leadership. All right. Well, Craig, you get to be up first as our Lifetime Achievement Award winner. My first question to you is, you've been in this job for a while. You and I get to see each other at dozens of these over the last 20 years or so. How do you create trust in your partner ecosystem? And as partners and vendors out there, just what do you do to make sure that your partners you're generating trust with them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, this industry, this channel is very much about that, and it's about building relationships, but ultimately the trust, I think, comes from delivering on what you promise. And there's a lot of things that people say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they don't often deliver on that. And so I'm very careful to say, we're going to do this, and we're going to actually deliver on that. And it's over the course of time. And I've had the honor of knowing a lot of these partners for 20-something years, and those relationships aren't built overnight. It takes many different things that have occurred over time and things that have happened to build that. So I think it's from that and that experience of working with them.
So do what you say and say what you do?
Precisely.
And that builds trust?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. I think more people could really embrace the idea of making those commitments and really communicating what you're going to do to be able to, and then executing on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So John, as the Channel Innovator Award, what innovative initiative are you proud of in your organization?
You kind of touch on a couple of different things there. I think when you talk about innovation, you really look at how do you make it easier for the business owners here to do work with us and to make it easier, make sure they're happier, make sure their customers are happier. So you have a relationship that's both fulfilling for the business owner as well as their customer. So one of the things I'm really proud about, and it's a journey, we're not there yet, we're still working on it, because I think innovation is always a journey, and how do you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, the goals you're trying to get to, is really how we've created a agent program for this community that's consistent and unified across the country, so that our agents are now know what to expect from Cox Business, how they'll engage with Cox Business, how they'll get treated, how the customers will get treated. And the feedback we get from everyone in this room and outside this room has been they love working with us because their customers know as a business owner that their customers are going to be treated extremely well. We do what we say. If we can't do something, we'll tell you that as well. And we just make it easier for the business owners here to engage with us. To me, it may not be rocket science for innovation, but it's the journey that we're on is how do we make it easier for the business owners to be successful? And that's what we're really trying to fulfill in what we do and how we do things. And on a side note, I really want to thank the community here because I know this was a nomination for the award from the community. So I really thank everybody here for that nomination and the recognition. So appreciate that.
Excellent. Suzanne, Rising Star Award. We were joking about that in the back. So you just started in Trustwave earlier this year, and you're taking on this kind of initiative of how do you transform this organization into a channel-centric company. So as you go ahead and do that, how do you advocate? Can you give any ideas of how you advocate for your channel partners internally? And I know as you kind of shift from being reliant on channel partners into really being centric on that, it's a hard shift internally. So what ideas or how do you go about getting that advocacy?
That's a good question. I think for a lot of organizations, it really is three components. It's being committed to developing a channel. It's like the old saying goes, you can't be half pregnant. I think you can't be half in the channel. You have to make that commitment and surround the channel partners with your entire organization. It requires investment, understanding that's dollars, that's people, that's time, it's change in strategy, and then it's patience. And just understanding that, to Craig's comment, those relationships don't get built over a short amount of time, not in 8 months, it'll take 8 years, it'll take a long time. So having that patience to understand that you will get the channel built and it will deliver results. And for me, it's constant reiteration of those messages that we have made a corporate decision to be in the channel. And because we've made that decision, these are the things that need to follow on.
And I think that's a really good point because a lot of times we get the question of how do I get there faster? How do I get our partners to be more engaged or more trusting, or how do we get our organization there faster? And we always joke, as you brought up the pregnancy, it still takes 9 months to make a baby, right? It doesn't matter how fast that you try to push programs or initiatives to kind of build that trust and to get that momentum. It's going to take a while to kind of get those relationships moving. So Craig, again, our Lifetime Achievement Award, and you've seen a lot of channel leaders. In fact, you've grown and fostered a lot of channel leaders in your career. What are 3 traits that you think that channel leaders need to continue to hone as particularly as we move into kind of the evolution of our channel models and the evolution of our channels?
Yeah. I do kind of feel like the Bill Walsh of this channel when I look at all the coaches out there, so to speak. But yeah, there are quite a few people that have been part of my teams, and I've been privileged to do that. But I'm not going anywhere, by the way. I'm not leaving.
This isn't a retirement speech.
I'm old enough to be a grandpa, I admit, but I'm not going anywhere. But there's a lot of things. I mean, it's hard to boil the ocean down. I think, though, if I had to succinctly put it, in the first case, I'd say it's creating a vision, a nobler motive of what your team's all about, what they're trying to achieve, so that you can show both partners and your employees on the team what they're trying to get to, and that they feel a place is where they're trying to get to. It's beyond just the day-to-day making a number, but what the true goal and mission is.
The big flag.
And the bigger purpose, yeah. So I think that's a big part of it. It then, is back to the relationships. Building those relationships and having those qualities. I mean, it can't be understated about how important that is, because there's a lot of things that you can get past when you know people and you work with them and they know what you're about and what you're going to do. And then I guess ultimately it's promises made, promises kept, and it's the execution. I'm very focused on that all the time, about execution and delivery. So I mean, there's many more things, but I'd sum it up in those 3 are really critical, I think, and the things that have kind of kept me from my true north over time of what I need to do.
And so I'm going to drill a little bit into that around the relationship aspect. And we talked a little bit about doing what you say and saying what you're going to do. But how do you, other than if you haven't been in this business for, let's just call it 20 years for you and I, round up, how do you build those, recommendations can you offer around building those relationships for the next generation of channel leaders that are coming up behind you?
Well, you better like Marriott Hotels and United Airlines, because you're going to have to go out on the road like I have. And sadly, I'm about to hit 2 million on United and another million on American. It's going out and seeing them and being in the field. You can't sit in your office and sit in internal meetings all the time. You need to be out in the face of your partners, and then down in the trenches, getting dirty, rolling up your sleeves and working on the issues, because then they see you as part of the solution, and you're helping them build their business, you're helping them make money, honestly. And hopefully you're friends along the way as well. And I think all those things culminate. So if I were telling somebody what to do, I'd say, get out there.
Mm-hmm. Breakfast, coffee, lunch, coffee, drinks, and dinner.
Amen.
You've got 6 ways every day to go meet your partners. So John, let's talk a little bit about how you create partner profitability, or have been increasing partner profitability in the last year and in the years to come. What are you guys at Cox doing around making sure that there is a road to profitability and growth there for your partners?
You really have to start with what the business model is and what our partners trying to accomplish and what their challenges are. As you talk about small business owners and larger business owners that are present, cash flow is king, right? That's really important to being successful. And some of our partners are relatively new, and some of our partners have been doing this for a long time and have built up a good book of business. So we introduce programs that really try to accommodate the needs of the cash flow, whether it's a residual-based commission that we do in our rapid scale products, or it's an upfront commission that we do in the Cox Business products. We really try to provide opportunities for these business owners here who really put a lot at risk to be successful. Let's face it, I work for a corporation, I'm fortunate, but everyone here in this room as a business owner has put a lot more at risk than I have. And really want to make sure that we're providing them the opportunity to be successful and give them what they need from a finance perspective and help them along the way and understand where they are in that journey so that we can help them with the commissions that are appropriate for their solutions and where they want to take their customers as well.
So let's get a little tactical on that. So is that business planning with them? Is that using incentives? What's the mix to ensure?
It's a combination of business planning. Obviously, some people want to plan more with us than others. A combination of business planning. I think it's just having the honest conversation of where are you in your business today, and what are you trying to accomplish? What are the challenges that you're going to be facing over the next year, whether you're retiring out of the business or just getting into the business, and trying to make sure that you have the tools in place to be successful. I think we can come at it from a unique perspective because as Cox Communications, we're not nationwide. We address 10% of the country. But the agents that we work with are nationwide and they sell throughout the country. So we're really interested in how do we help you be successful. And the thought process there is, if we can help you be successful as a business owner, you'll come back to rely on us when opportunities come up that are in our footprint. And that we want to be realized for that aspect of the business.
And as business models continue to morph and evolve, and as the solution providers and agents and master agents business models continue to grow as we add more complex solutions and more kind of robust products and features to that, I think one of the things that we see a lot of the audience out there doing is evaluating their profitability per supplier line as well, right? So if you guys don't know how profitable your partners are with you, they do, and they're really starting to evaluate that profitability. So having that number kind of front and center and knowing what that profitability is, I think is part of the channel innovation ideas.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Suzanne, hi down there. It seems like, we bookend these guys. So in this, you're transforming an organization. These guys have had kind of channel-friendly organizations for a long time. And as you continue to transform this organization, what do you see as kind of your key challenge in that motion or movement around with Trustwave?
Yeah, it's, I think in my experience, I don't know, how many of you in this room have ever worked with a vendor who brought a new product for you to sell and it was completely not designed for the channel? Yeah, love that. And so that really is the biggest challenge as an organization is, I think a lot of companies tend to think of channels as the endpoint as opposed to the starting point. And so a lot of my day is spent working with our R&D team, helping them understand what channels can do, how they deliver, how they address our customer problems. So when they're thinking about the market and new products and services, they're thinking about channel as part of that delivery mechanism. So it needs to carry from R&D through product development, product management, product marketing, all the way out to that end sales guy who understands that every customer he or she has absolutely has a partner. So how are you going to engage that partner and make them part of your strategy to grow that account? So a lot of it internally is working with all of the stakeholders to help them understand that because we are moving to a channel-centric company, they need to change how they think. And it's kind of like turning a battleship.
It's a culture, yeah.
But when we get there, we make that cultural change, it will make us the kind of partner I think we really can be.
So just to stick on that for a little while, what will success look like for you at the end of, let's say, 2020? Because I think 2019 is, a minute away from now. So let's go to the end of 2020. I'm already planning Christmas break.
Yeah, I think for us it looks a couple of things. One, it looks like channel revenue being close to 50% of the company revenue, and today we're not even close to that. And it looks like us thinking partner first internally as part of our culture.
Yeah, that's interesting you mentioned 50% because we call that reliant along the channel maturity curve from novice to tolerant to reliant to accomplished and centric. And 50% is really where you become truly reliant on an indirect model, because without that revenue in business, then there's no way you can make your numbers around that. So you definitely become reliant on that. So John, just as we look and talk about 2020, what enablement initiative are you expecting to launch or grow in 2020?
We're continuing on the journey of being easy to do business with, and how do we make the transactions happen with less interaction, with more automation. So that's one part of our journey, to make it easier for the businesses here to work with us. The other innovation we're working on is really alignment with our investments. So about a year ago, we purchased RapidScale, and that's been going extremely well. So Randy Jeter and I are working on alignment of the channel programs and how does that work together better in the future, and how do we introduce that jointly in other areas. We have another solution we purchased called Blueprint RF that does hospitality Wi-Fi, and we're on that journey as well. And how do we introduce hospitality Wi-Fi into the community? Because of the businesses that you represent here, there's opportunity for the solutions that Cox Business is growing into for the indirect channel to take advantage of as well. So that's a big part of our journey going into the next year, is really taking the investments we're making and making sure that we continue to be channel friendly or invest in the channel to make that solution available to the channel as well.
And what does that include? Are you packaging the solution? Is that training? What will these guys see in terms of how to engage with you, or what enablement they can expect from you?
I think it'll be a combination of all the above, right? It's the training, the education for you and what the solution is. It's defining the right compensation model that can help as well. It's helping to do customer events that you want to introduce people to. It's really sometimes the hand-to-hand combat of let's go talk to a customer about the solution to make sure it resonates and we can go sell it. So I think you've got to be flexible in this space, because you don't know what you don't know. So you got to be willing to take the investment and try with some friendly partners that we have to see how well it will work, and then go back to the drawing board and tinker with the model to get it to the right spot. And that's a big part of the innovation, is the trying part, because not everything's perfect right out of the gate. But if you're teamed up with the right businesses here in this room to go do that, you can learn a lot from how to execute in the field and go to market, and then bring a better solution out for everybody.
So you guys take a more evolutionary approach to kind of how you roll out rather than revolutionary. I'm not saying
that's a favorite saying of mine. It's not revolutionary, it's evolutionary. On that journey, we're not rocket scientists here, right? So it's kind of how do we get things introduced, how do we evolve and improve them over time, and that's really the journey that we're on.
And I think that's important for the audiences to hear, because a lot of times sometimes they're expecting something, the silver bullet or the revolutionary thing, and then we talk to them a lot about predictability, and even predictability sometimes increasing profitability, just in terms of that evolutionary growth, and how can they really trust and rely that you guys are going to kind of stay the course and continue to improve, but not do necessarily a student body left on them.
That's a very good point. I think Craig hit it in his comments, is being present, right? Being in the market and being available. Committing to what you're saying you're going to do and doing what you say. That's where you have to come in. And that comes with time. That comes with investment of time and energy on our part. And we really do, strive to be that partner with everyone here. But it's a journey. It takes a little time to get there.
Yeah. And we're going to give Craig the last word as our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, but it's a big question. So as we look into 2020 and beyond, I feel like Buzz Lightyear, what trends do you feel are shaping kind of the next generation of partnering programs that you and I have grown up in the last 20 years? I mean, you were at level 3, right, when we started this thing?
Well, actually, I think I met you at the St. Francis Hotel in like 2000 time frame when I was at Quest at that time.
You were at Quest, and I was 2 years old.
I was thinking about this, it was much younger then, so was I. And then I can't forget it, because it was 18 years ago. I was in this same city at a Marriott for this same show when it was called a different name of the show, but the reason I got in this space was at that time, obviously it was the dawn of the internet, and applications were starting to be sold like hosted exchange, and in marrying an application with a network. And I had come from IBM Lotus, and I thought, wow, I could really use what I learned at IBM and Lotus and leverage it over here. Now, I was a little bit before my time, because that was a long time ago, but you can see now, and Pryfogle is probably a good example of it. Look at what he's doing here in his PAX 8. You've got a company that's selling SaaS, and it's this notion of the marriage between applications and the cloud infrastructure they ride on, and data connectivity and the networks that carry the bits, and putting those two together. And I think that's the trend that we're seeing. I thought it was going to happen in 2000. It's now 2018, but it's starting to really become ever present. And we're obviously involved in all that as well, and SDN now, and many other elements. But you can see the world changing. It's much more of a solution orientation now. And the trends are really moving towards partners selling a whole compendium of solutions that aren't just about telecom, but are about the marriage of applications and the network together. And that's really all that's left in life in this world is those two things. And you're either playing in one or the other, or perhaps both. But I think more of it's coming together than ever before. And you're seeing things like PAX 8. You're seeing the information that came out on App Direct with Telegration. This marriage is starting to happen very rapidly, and I think it's only going to accelerate from here.
Right. I mean, certainly we're seeing a lot of the things that are driving the changes in the partners as well as the changes in the vendors are really stemming from this customer need of a full solution to meet their business outcomes. Where they're not just buying technology for technology's sake anymore. They wanted to do something for their business, right? And not just like, I need a security or I need a telephone line. They're really looking for something that drives that. So I wanted to congratulate the three of you on your special awards again, and to all of the 51 Top Guns. There is dinner tonight that will celebrate everybody, and thank you for spending a little time with me up here today to talk a little bit about kind of what's up and what's next generation for you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.